talking about your own sort of personal self, and there are two things that stands out for me, and I really would want to dig deeper into it. One is that productivity, your peak performance, the amount you can pack in your day, despite your travel, despite multiple time zones, and so many things demanding attention. Please tell us the secret. How do you make that happen? What had you learned about managing peak productivity, peak performance?
Maybe 6, 7 years ago, I started to get this curiosity for, uh, the biology of us, right? So it's and in each phase, I don't know why some of these things trigger, but they do trigger. So there was a stage in my life when got so interested in the internet, and that's how I got into the digital world and went deep into that, and that defined a lot of what I did as an entrepreneur and the VC world, right? It was internet first and the digital world. A few years ago, like I said, 4, 5 years ago, I started to kind of get deeply interested in what I would call, I didn't know what I was really digging into in those days. But now I've come to understanding that you could broadly call this the biology of aging, right? So what is the biology of aging? It is really getting a better understanding of the root mechanisms that kind of accumulate from, the operations of your body, and at the cellular level, at the molecular level, and what you get impacted from the environment. And the cumulative effect of this is what starts showing up later clinically, whether any disease that you could think of, right? So I started to get a better understanding that let me understand what those central root mechanisms are. And as I dug more and more deeper into it, there was this fascination that, at least for me, it was like unreal, that a lot of what I learned in my tech world, your actual, the biological systems were very reflective of that.
Explain that. I don't understand.
So we think of models, and we think of systems, and we think of subsystems, and we think of network effects.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are playing out, and we think of scale, right? We have trillions of reactions happening every second in our body, right? So, and of course, we have also heard of this, billions of organisms in your gut and so on. So I think there are hierarchies in your bodily systems. There are, pathways that, a change in one part of the subsystem has a significant change in another part of subsystem. There are dependencies. There are redundancies. We have been built to survive because of a lot of redundancies that are there in our body. So all of this kind of gave me a better appreciation, and I just thought that, this is a space that, and then AI happens, and I'm trying to understand what can be a more complex system in this world where AI can find its ultimate application. It has to be our health. It has to be our body, right? So for me, kind of this whole thing kind of came together to say, if there is something where I have to influence my 60s and 70s and 80s, I need to understand what's happening in my 40s and 50s, right? My 40s are done. So in my 50s, can I get a better understanding of what I need to measure, what I need to prioritize, and what I need to change, right, to increase this disconnect or bring in this disconnect between chronology and biology, right? So if I have to ensure that it's not a linear path to degrading myself to one or more of these clinical outcomes, right, then I need to upstream make certain changes. And these changes are usually, everybody will tell you, they are very simple. They'll tell you it's about muscle, it's about flexibility, it's about nutrition, it's about sleep, blah, 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 right? But I think, and this broadly has been understood as preventive health.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that sometimes, you need a big buzzword, or you need a big shift in how people think. And that's what longevity and this new thinking on aging is about. So if you ask me, you will within the next 10-15 years have a lot of doctors who will not be treating sick people, but who will be treating healthy people, because that's where the money will be.
Yeah.
Right?
For stories like this, keep following us. From Code to Culture, our podcast. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media.